I'm gonna make this tutorial as quick as possible, as efficient as possible, because I know that's how I like my tutorials. So we'll get right into it, but before that, I just wanna say, you could take a second to subscribe to me. It'd mean a lot as I'm trying to get to my goal of buying a Camaro with my own money. So hope you guys can help me get to that goal. So first thing is you'll just wanna get all your tools together. What I'm using is a big impact. You're gonna need a big one like this so it can get the lugs off because they're on super tight. And then a jack to get the car up, sockets to go onto the lugs. And then one of the most important things here is a torque wrench. So lugs are really specific with the amount of foot-pounds, I guess, that you put onto the lugs. So this just makes sure they're on right for maximum safety. And then these are torque sticks for the driver that get the lugs to about the torque you want to be. And then you finish it off with the torque wrench here. And then I have a light just so I can see, because as you can see, it's starting to get a little dark out. So first step, 100% of the time, whether or not you're on a slope, you want to put the parking brake on. So just put your brake in, and on this car, it's pull this up. On some cars, it'll be down here. There's a thing you push in. So first thing is we're just getting the car jacked up. You got to be specific with these. There's a spot under the car, usually the frame or toe point, that you want to put the jack on, and I'll show that once it's up here. It's gonna look like harder, thicker metal than something that would be thin. So you can see right, that looks like a toe point or a piece of the frame. What you know is if you hit it, it doesn't sound hollow. Like this, that's plastic, it sounds hollow. This is hard metal. So you know you can put all the weight of the car onto it. So now that the car's up, we're just gonna get the driver and the socket. This one's a 19, and just take it to all these lugs and have the drill on left and just take them off. Make sure to keep these in a neat pile so you don't lose them. They're small and easy to lose. So now that the lugs are off, sometimes these tires can get stuck. So for that, you can just give them a little nudge with your foot and they'll come right off. And then roll the tire off. So now we just gotta do that 3 more times. So the thing to pay attention to with these tires is on the sidewall, on some of them, not all of them, there would be a little thing right here that says rotation, and then it'll point the way it's going. So you wanna make sure you get that on the right side. This one is a right side tire because you can see the wheel on the outside with it pointing forward. Another tip is to use the deeper tread on the front and then the more shallow tread on the back so you can have better steering. So now I'm just gonna get this onto the car. You wanna lift it up onto your knee, that's what I do, so that you can get the weight off your arms, I guess. And then push it onto the lugs, not the lugs, but the studs. There we go. Now that's on, I just take one lug nut and then screw it on so that now the tire won't come off. So we looked it up for the specific car. I suggest doing that too. The foot-pounds it wants on this car is 80 foot-pounds to the lugs. So I will mention these aren't necessary, they're just nice. These are torque sticks. They get it to about the torque you want, and then you definitely want a torque wrench to get it to exactly the spec. So I'm just gonna start with the torque stick to get it down to about where I want it. So now I have the torque stick on with the same socket, and I'm just gonna get all of these lugs until this makes a couple chugs, you could say. And then biggest thing for wear, what you want to do is you want to do a star pattern. So what that looks like is go from one across to the other, across to the other, across, across. And then you make sure that the tire is equally flush to the hub, and then that's going to be really nice on the tire for wear, so it's equal wear. So now I'm just torquing down all of these in the star pattern. So now that these are all snug down, they're close to spec, but not quite in spec. So I'm just gonna take the torque wrench and get it down exactly to what it wants. So this is what a torque wrench looks like. It's gonna get it exactly to what you set it, which is exactly what the car wants. And I would suggest having another person in the car pressing the brakes so that when you try to move the tire, it doesn't actually spin. So now I'm just gonna set my torque wrench to 80 foot-pounds. So I'm just going down to 80, right at 80. So now I'm just gonna get these snug down. There's certain kinds of torque wrenches. Some are electronic, some are analog like this one. So one like this, you're gonna twist it and then it'll click once it gets to the certain torque it wants. I'm gonna go to this side so it's easier. So I'm just gonna push down. Now that clicks, you know it's in spec. And then star pattern until that's all the way torqued down. So now this tire is officially done. It's got all the lug nuts on to spec, and then it's got the rotation set the right way. So we're good to go driving the snow. And another thing I like to do after you get the tires down since these haven't been used for a year, you can make sure they're the right pressure. So I have my little Milwaukee air compressor. I'm just gonna make sure these are up to spec for the tires. And these ones are 36 PSI. So right now they're at 31. So we're going to give her some more. So we got set at 36 and then go. So now that's all done, just do that for the other 3 tires.